Gazing at the moon, you may find it interesting to know that one of the craters on it was named after a 16th century Chinese adventurer who tried to fly by sitting on a bunch of firecrackers with huge kites bound to each of his arms. The dream of Wan Hu, a craftsman in the Ming Dynasty, was shattered by gravity, but he is remembered as the first man in the world who attempted to fly with an airborne vehicle. It was thought of as a refined skill to play the musical instrument called zheng. The kite has a beautiful Chinese name, fengzheng. Feng means wind. The kite is not so much an aircraft, but rather a symbol of the curiosity and innocence of our forefathers. Lured by space, many people made attempts to fly, but all failed. The experiments to fly eventually taught people that they were not yet able to get airborne. They instead turned to making something that could fly, hence the birth of the kite. There are various stories about where the kite was first made. There were early records in many parts of Europe, Asia, and the Americas. Who first made it is not important. What is important is that man was able to make it. The kite was introduced to Europe in the 14th century, where they had an influence on the invention of the airplane. The time when the kite may have been introduced to Europe was first suggested by Dr. Joseph Needham, a renowned British scientist, in his Science and Civilization in China. He thought the kite was a major contribution of China to the world. Echoing Lee, Robert Temple of the United States claim the Chinese became the first to fly kites in about 1000 BC in his book, The Genius of China, 3,000 Years of Science, Discovery, and Invention. Legend has it that Chinese master carpenter Lu Ban made a kite in the 4th century BC, and it stayed airborne 3 days in a row. It has been a precious childhood memory of many to fly kites outdoors. Kites take on various shapes. Some are basic and others expressive. In northern China, the kite is called paper eagle, and in the south, sparrow hawk. The Chinese name, fengzheng, comes from the ancient practice to bind a bamboo whistle onto a kite, which gives off a sound like that of zheng in the wind. Poets therefore describe the paper eagle as wind zheng, and the latter soon became the common name for kites around the country. In Nantong of East China's Jiangsu province, people believe only their kites are real fengzheng, or wind zheng.
外界对南通风筝是特别的感兴趣，因为呢，南通风筝带有音响，在国内和世界上呢是独一无二的，因为南通风筝只能称得上真正的这个风筝是非南通风筝莫属了，其他风筝都不能代表这个风筝，只能叫只要筝嘛，它就是有声音的，它没有声音的东西怎么能叫筝呢？对不对？
唐到宋就五代十国，也90来年了。五代十国时期的礼仪，他根据古筝，筝是乐器，根据古筝一听，做了饼说，加了风筝，放去铮响，说统一了江南的浙江江北的窑子，所以叫风筝，筝的来源就这样来的。说从那以后成为宫廷玩物，说有太监穿戴的面间，说有那花床啊就出现了。
This is a singing kite made in Nantong, called a six-corner hawk, or simply a hawk kite. It's made up of a square and a rectangle, and therefore has 6 corners. The kite is 4 or 5 meters long and is equipped with hundreds of whistles which sing in a chorus in the sky. The music can be heard several kilometers away.
这叫澳门声，懂吗？声音就是很粗，像大提琴一样的，叫澳门声。这叫震旦器。
它上面是什么？
请问一下，南通土话叫锯子，你把当成叫锯子啊。这叫连哨。
The stretches of sand beaches along the river in Nantong serve as perfect places for flying kites. Flying the kite used to be a great event. The strongest and most skilled man in a village led a group of more than 10 to hold the wire, while another group pushed the kite up into the air. People cheered if the kite soared onto the sky, which was regarded a symbol of good fortune. But it was not good if the string broke and the kite fell to the ground. In this case, the kite must be torn into pieces and thrown into the river. Among hawk kites, the 7-star hawk is most stable thanks to its symmetric structure and can therefore be equipped with many whistles. For instance, such a kite more than 3 meters long is able to bear 180 whistles of large or medium sizes. The largest whistle, whose sound volume is very big, can hold 60 kilograms of water. The secret of hawk kites lies in the small weight of the large whistles. The size of the whistles varies greatly. The smallest whistle can be the size of a soybean. The hawk kites are made with silk and painted with dragons, phoenixes, flower patterns, or historical figures. To make a hawk kite takes great skill. The frame is made by binding strong bamboo rods. The bamboo rods are first baked straight over a slow fire, then polished with sandpaper, and finally bound into a frame which is symmetric both in structure and weight, so that the kite can stay balanced in the strong winds. The hawk kites are the heaviest among all kites and therefore need strong winds to lift them up into the sky. The large ones require winds of force 6 or above, and the small ones need winds of force 5 to be able to get airborne and sing in the sky. The kite, a product unique in South China, was introduced to the north in the 15th century when the ruling Ming Dynasty moved its capital from the south to the northern city of Beijing. Since then, kites have been flying in northern China's skies each spring. Beijing boasts a variety of kites. The most representative being the swallow with scissor-like tails. People paint on the breast and tails of the swallow kite such patterns as symbolizing good luck, and those of bats and peaches. The swallow kite has a simple frame made up of only 5 bamboo rods. It enables the swallow to soar into the sky in a breeze and also to keep its balance in strong winds. Many kinds of kites are derived from the swallow kite, including those in the shape of fish and human figures, which are made in Weifang of East China's Shandong province, and those of butterflies and wheels made in Tianjin. Shandong has a long tradition of kite flying. Among all other parts of the province, Weifang is best known for its kites. The kite of Weifang is usually a string of independent pieces. For example, a centipede kite consists of a larger piece resembling a dragon's head, and a number of smaller ones resembling sections of a centipede's body, which are stringed up with wire. The combination of a dragon's head with a centipede's body has been regarded as a symbol of prosperity and fortune. The string is cut sometimes so that the kite flies away with the wind, with it the bad luck, as some people believe. Local residents also believe the centipede to be the son of the dragon, which has been worshipped by the Chinese as a supreme god. The giant centipede kite flown at the Weifang International Kite Festival has a dragon's head 4 meters tall and a centipede's body 320 meters long. It must be the longest and largest kite in the world. There are a variety of stringed-up kites. One can toy with a small one in one's palm, yet a large one can be more than 100 meters long. Their rich colors also present a kaleidoscope view. Yangjiangfu, a village in Weifang, is regarded as the home of the kite, where almost every household makes a living by turning out kites. Members of this family have been making kites over the ages.
您今年多大岁数了
我今年70岁了。
？70岁了。
嗯。
从小就扎风筝吗？
从小时候跟着父亲扎风筝，那个是我的父亲。
哪个是你？
对，因为我父亲从小他扎风筝，因为我父亲11岁开始扎风筝，95岁去世的，96年去世的，扎了81年风筝。
您这是家传的那个？
这主人，因为这再一个就是我为什么叫风筝世家呢？就是我的女儿啊，第三代传杨宏伟，我的女儿现在干，
女儿也扎。
她在东面扎那就是我的女儿。要是风筝火上都印着名字。
都有名字。
都印着这个，潍坊杨家堡风筝世家3代传杨宏伟，这些我女儿干，电话号码这些都有。
都有啊。
咱这个风筝嘛，咱扎的风筝特点有什么特点？因为我父亲扎风筝时他说扎的风筝就是竹条、卷圆、骨架周正，左右对应，上下对称。因为这个竹条这个风筝必须有卷圆这骨架周正。因为它这东西你写起来，你看看它它这个架必须它周正的，不周正不行。它得左右对应，上下对称。这个房费这个其实咱都是单支实费说潍坊所有扎风筝的，咱是就独此一家单支实费每一支都经过实费。
Kites made at Yangjiafu village are famous for fine workmanship and the ability to fly high and steadily. They can be divided into more than 60 kinds, including the plain, the three-dimensional, and the freestyle ones. The village is also known for its woodblock New Year pictures, which are often printed on kites.
它这个杨家堡风筝或这个年画它有称为姊妹艺术品。杨家堡年画的特点不是一是乡土气息，而是艺术夸张；三是色彩的强烈对比性就是大红大绿所以说咱这个风筝你这也是大红大绿红色的绿色的这个是风筝，这是它的特点。
The frames of Chinese kites are made mainly of bamboo, and only recently of wood, glass fibers, or light metals. The frames are covered with paper or silk and sometimes with man-made fiber textiles like nylon. To increase the productivity, Chinese kite makers combine the making of kites with that of woodblock New Year pictures. Instead of drawing pictures directly on the paper, they print black lines on it with woodblocks, then paste it onto the frame, and finally fill in the colors. Besides learning from traditions, Chinese kite makers also borrow modern skills from their foreign counterparts. They have come up with such stringed-up kites as the 108 Warriors, and 100 Birds and the Phoenix can revolve in the wind and give off smoke and fire. This kite, resembling the Monkey King, can change into various shapes in the air, as the magical monkey did. The kite flies in the air, but it never breaks away from the kite flyer's hand, no matter how high it flies. It leads our view into the depth of space.